Cheers.
No, no, no. I said. Oh my God.
Off is, I guess, introduce yourself and who you are, what you do, and what.
Ooh. Okay. Well, my name is Gaia. I am an artist, based in Glasgow still in a lot of ways. And I live in London, but I'm an artist and a music industry person, I guess. I was working in Glasgow for a long time. I think maybe artist, just a creative. I like to have my fingers in a lot of pies. But I sing and write and perform, but also do other parts like an artist management and as well as some booking stuff, which I did up in Glasgow. Yeah,
Nice.
that's me.
And kind of what's the vibe of your music? Where do you kind of find yourself fitting in?
Definitely kind of within the jazz, neo soul, R&B world. I think I always say jazz, even though I don't really consider myself a jazz singer, but I'm very involved in the jazz scene in Scotland and have been for a really long time, and definitely is my home in a lot of ways. And I think if you have a very expansive view of what jazz is, you'll consider me a jazz singer. But if not, I don't know if I necessarily traditionally fit within that category, but jazz is very much my home. And more so for the community. Like all of my band are jazz people. And I think I cut my teeth with them performing live through jam sessions, which a lot of it was jazz. And I think some of the most supportive people I've known have been the kind of sort of jazz industry in Scotland in a lot of ways. So I owe a lot to them. But yeah, it's definitely a bit more on the groove side. Maybe call it new jazz, groove, R&B, mix of all the good stuff.
Stuff that's good for the soul.
Yeah.
That's what you want. It was like so there was the headline at Rum Shack, and that was sold out, really awesome. Like the crowd was really into it. You guys were obviously, you could see the passion on stage, and that was a cool moment. And it was musicians in every sense of it, and like the passion was.
Yeah, I feel very lucky to have what I think are genuinely the most talented musicians ever. I feel very humbled by them on a daily basis, if I'm being really honest. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of work, but I think it was kind of, for me, I've not really thought about it a lot since. This is quite nice to go back and think about it in my mindset at the time. But it was so much of it is to do with the people that are around me. I think just from the band, like James, my guitarist, who I've been playing with together, like we've been playing together for a long time now, who I trust so much. And then Graham, the drummer, is the best drummer in the UK. Like he plays the corte alto. He's just also just like the kindest soul on the planet. Going to his wedding next year, actually. I'm very excited. And yeah, and then Chris, and just all of them are just from that jazz world and are just like incredibly, incredibly, like stupidly talented.
Hopefully, see what happens.
Just give me a chip break. So yeah, and it was and then also specifically, it was important for me. I think it was great that I just play with my friends in every sense. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Stay. Yeah, I think for my headline, and like
we may
Diva down.
We may have to give up on this one here.
Looking for work. What are you doing?
Yeah. Stay.
Do your thing.
Sorry.
No, don't.
There we go.
Yeah, I think the best thing about the headline was I got to play with my friends. And it meant that there was so much trust and lucky that I get to do. And so it just meant that going into it, there was so much freedom to just bring very rickety ideas to them. Like they trusted me so much. Like I have to say, they really trusted that they saw the vision, I think, and they trusted the process because it was not easy getting there. And then, yeah, and having Becky Scassa sing with me as well, who I sing for her. So that's great thing is Russell and Kelly, who also sing in the band, like, um, they put in so much work, like so many hours, and they were just like down to do it because we would just get to hang out all the time. And doing it at the Rum Shack as well was really important for me because that's where the venue that I go to on a weekly basis, whether it's for Glitch 41 or it's for Laylo or it's for anything else. Like Brian and Sean, who run the venue, are like big up. Like they're the guys, and like so much of the jazz community like just is from there. So when I thought about doing my headline, like there was literally no other place that I could have done it because, and then having, Mel, who's a friend of mine who I've known for years doing sound, it was a big old like family affair. And then them supporting as well. Like it was just, I really just like called in like all the favors I fucking absolutely could.
All in for one thing. One thing.
I was if I ever ask anything of you. But again, that's just like the community of it, isn't it? Like, having Bems come through and support, and because he was the first person to ever book me, just over a year ago now, because he just believed in the project and like believed in me and wanted to see me do something to be able to bring him back, and also for him to do it. First of all, I did text him saying, "Hey, if you say I'm not even mad about it, like so fair because I can afford to pay you very little. I can definitely can't pay you your actual fee." And for him to come through and do that was just really cool. So yeah, all of it was, and it's just like the beauty of community. And I think that's the biggest thing I was like so grateful for. I think
the Glasgow music scene is like one of my favorite parts of it is like everybody's so friendly and like people are willing to put their neck out and try and make those connections and work with those connections. And I guess beyond the point of it's just music connections, it's people who are actually becoming friends. And then you see moments like that headline show and you could feel it. Yeah. That was kind of the beauty of it. Like it wasn't, you can go to so many gigs, you can go to the O2, you can go to St. Luke's and you see these bands and very talented bands, but they're bands. Mm-hmm. But that was like watching a bunch of friends have a jam session live on stage.
Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. And there was actually kind of, it's so funny because I was so nervous and I spoke to Graham about it like after. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it went so well. And I think again, because we've been playing with each other for so long, that's the difference, I think, as well. Like I've played for James's project, his project, Unharmed. It's one of my favorite projects out there. It's like an experimental sort of Massive Attack and Radiohead inspired, like really kind of heavy band. And we've done gigs together where I've played for him, where, I sing for Becky. Like all of us are so familiar with each other and each other's like repertoire, that it makes it so easy to play together. And so I get to throw at them all these things and that they just were down to do it. It was just really cool. And after the show, I like went to Graham. I was like, oh my God, it's like, first of all, it's God, I can't believe it's over. But also I was like, that actually went so well. Cause we actually hadn't like one rehearsal all of us together the night before. It was like the first time we were hearing it all together. And it was like in a really bad little room somewhere. So we couldn't actually hear anything. And we were just kind of like, well, this will do. And he just was like, yeah, of course. He was like, why wouldn't it not have gone? He was like, look at who you've got playing for you. Like, look at the people that are here. And it was kind of, to be honest, the feeling I think that people got seeing the show was the same feeling that we had looking out there, because it was so many people that I knew. Also, a lot of people that I didn't know, which was kind of, that was more shocking to me. Like, those are people I didn't recognize. I was a bit like, what are you doing here? How did you know about this? But it was so nice. It was just like such a nice amalgamation of so many different, like, I think chapters of my life in Glasgow, and so many different scenes and so many different people. Because I think obviously being part of the jazz scene, like through my work and everything else, like I'm quite heavily involved in other parts of the scene as well. And it was just seeing George there, and just Speedy and Suze were there, and just all these different people that I've kind of like collected along the way that are just the best people, kind of actually being able to see, I think we talk about community so much, but actually seeing what that looks like in person, like all of us being in the same room together, was what I found so overwhelming as well. But can't wait to do it again. Thanks.
This time, London.
Well, maybe. I'm actually planning a few shows up here next year.
Okay.
That's fun.
Are you going back down that like DIY route? You did it yourself, obviously, and
Mhm.
I guess just
It was so hard.
I imagine
It was
because
so hard.
as an artist, and it's not a lot of money in music, unfortunately. But like, so what was the kind of like?
Well,
Why take the risk of doing it yourself? Was it passion or was it calculated risk?
delusion. I don't know. I think it was definitely partly because I didn't really have any other choice. Um, I think sometimes you also just need to back yourself, and I knew I wanted to do the show. This was kind of the one, I never really thought about, being an artist. I love to sing and I love to make music, but I never thought of myself as like, I'm going to be an artist to a point where I'm going to like write original music and people are going to want to come and like listen to it. Like, what? So for a very long time, I was so happy because I sing. I spent before I started my project, like I spent so much time like singing for other people. So I was like singing for Tom and the Brass Holes or singing for like Rebecca Vasma or just doing things for other people. And very quickly that stopped feeling as fulfilling. By the time I'm getting paid to sing, what a hack. Why doesn't everyone do this? So then to the point of like going from that point to then, yeah, I'm going to put on a headline show and people are going to buy tickets, basically invest into me, especially at a time where like I am so aware of like how expensive life is right now. So like the fact that even if it was like a tenner that people wanted to pay to come see me, I kind of still can't believe it. Um, but partly of I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the show. I knew exactly how I wanted it to sound. I knew exactly who I wanted involved, and yeah, it's an expensive thing. Having what was a 6-piece band. If band was 3 singers, that's if you want to pay everyone MU rates or even just a little bit, like it adds up. And I originally wasn't looking to do it independently because I've worked in like the Glasgow scene, through being a booker at Sleazy's. Like I knew a lot of promoters, and I wanted to see what offers were out there. Um, and I think looking back, actually I don't. Maybe like a part of me I think I was the offers that we're getting were so completely lowball. And I'm trying not to reveal too much. I think, and it's especially because it was also people that I've worked with and knew quite well. So it was quite surprising. I was quite shocked by the um, offers, and also it was upsetting like having the conversations where they were like, well, that's just kind of that's how it is. It's a 250 cap room, so if we want to price this much, like this is how much we need to spend. Like you're not going to make that much money. That's actually not true. Hey, it turns out that's a lie.
The faith wasn't like mutually.
Well, in the sense where even where it was like the equivalent to a sellout, I wouldn't. Basically, the offers were so low that even if I sold out the venue through the promoter, I wouldn't have been able to pay myself and one other person MU rates.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if it was a duo, so me and James is usually how I played. Even if it was the two of us, we wouldn't have been paid music union rates, which are £180. So you can do that.
Yeah.
And so for what I wanted to do, I was like, and so it was kind of, and what was crazy was the conversations I was having, it was kind of, they were leading me to, well, that's just what you have to do. You have to pay your dues. Like you're going to lose money on your first shows. That's just how it is. You're going to lose money on your first shows. I was like, well, I can't really afford to lose money on the show. Or like, if I feel like the thing was, I was ready to lose money, especially when I decided to do it myself. I was expecting to lose money, but at least there was, I guess, like a degree of transparency where I knew that if I'm losing money, I still know that, well, I know everyone's getting paid. I know that, I know exactly what's going out into marketing. I know exactly where the money's coming. Like I didn't mind losing money under those circumstances. I did mind losing money if I knew that, well, okay, it's a 250 cap venue. You're selling tickets at a tenner. Where is the money going?
Yeah. You're not spending that kind of money on billboards and stuff like that or anything like. So
yeah. So it would just, but also like I get it. Like there's a lot more. There's insurance to pay. There's other things that I guess there are costs that they expect that I didn't necessarily need to pay. But this is kind of where when I very quickly decided, oh, I'm just going to do it myself. But by doing it myself meant that I was able to ask for those favors. You know, the Rum Shack, I got the venue for free because I've been playing there for so many years. I know Brian and Sean really well. Thems and played for free. And like so many people, and this is like when the community, like to me, it showed, I was like, oh, the community is there. You know, the poster that I had was a back piece tattoo that my amazing roommate designed for me. We went out for one night, bought her some wines, and we just designed it. And it was, you know, photographed by another good friend of mine who we just came to my house and did a photo shoot randomly. And I was like, well, I can give you guys wine. It was a lot of wine. Actually, a lot of wine to make people. But that's where it was like the community is so real and you can put these things on. And I think it's like taking the power back a little bit as an artist of, well, actually turns out a lot of us are surrounded by really talented people. And so many people just want to make stuff anyway. So why not? From like the very early stages of the project, I was working with my friends. So from the beginning to the end, because I think I look at the whole show as like a project itself, like from conception, like the idea of like the poster and how writing music, like all of it was like a project that from beginning to end, I got to work with my friends. And I think it showed by the end result of why it felt the way it did. And I think why I'm so glad so many people walked away with that feeling as well, because I felt it, because I was just having a great time. But like, the whole time, I was just having an amazing time. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
The people you love, people that support you.
Yeah, all my friends are here. I don't need to go anywhere. They're all here. And yeah, I guess, you know, now the next steps is like trying to go beyond that as well. And what that's going to look like, who knows?
I can't lie, with the back tattoo, the second I saw it, I was like, there's no way she's got that tattooed on her back. And
It fooled a lot of people.
I was like,
which was
that supposed to be like, no way.
Which was the point. Yeah, that's so funny. That was like a random idea I had ages ago, a long time ago. And because my roommate is a tattoo artist, she's an we stick and poke. Look her up. She's a hand poke artist, and I just remember sitting in the just sitting in the living room one day and being like, "How cool would it be to just like do a back tattoo poster?" Like I was like, and I didn't know what it was going to be for. I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna log that in like my ideas somewhere, like maybe for an EP or whatever." I was like, "I'll use it for promotion one day." And then like when I decided to do the show, I was like, "Well, hey, I've got the opportunity now." to utilize this idea that I've had. And it just came out so much better than I expected as well. And like, you know, I like the physicality of posters. I think, especially now because everything is so digital, just fine. But I like the idea of having something physical. And actually like, there's a lot of nights I follow that do a lot of things like that, like Events Features Program, which is run by Booster, amazing like night. And she'll like, I remember I played one of the nights and it was like she'd done an embroidery and that was the poster. And I was like, there's something about like the craft of like spending time and making something real that I love. Where my old roommate, my old friend Joe, he runs a night called Erosion, and their very first posters, I remember there was one that was like incredible. It was designed by my friend Danny. That was a block of ice. They lasered into, it was like a real block of ice that they lasered all the names into. And I was like, why? Like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And like, why are people, well, I know why people don't do that more, because it takes forever.
You gotta get the block of ice then.
Yeah. So I'm like, maybe like, why don't people just do that? No, it takes forever. And same with oh my God, like from designing the back poster to actually like doing the shoot to then, because it was also, it was a film photo. So my friend Grace like took the pictures on film, and we took some digital as well, just
in case.
They were taken on film, and I was like, because I just wanted it to be a photo. So there was also just like not a huge margin for error. But it was, again, that was a cool one where I was like, I just wrapped in my friends, and everyone was, sometimes it's when you have a bit of an idea, like you can feel very awkward about it sometimes, because it's like if other people aren't really like getting it or seeing the vision, it can be kind of hard driving the idea forward. But the fact that I was like, it's because I was like walking around also like topless, basically, like around my friends, because it was like a panic piece. And everyone was just down. Like everyone, you know, they were also getting really inspired. And then they're like, oh, you should try this pose or do whatever. So it was just like, I was also feeding off of the energy from my amazing friends. And that continued throughout the whole thing, the whole pod, like the whole gig. So I mean, it was hard. And promoting it and getting tired to hear the sound of your own voice. That was a big one as well. Like in the actual promotion, like, okay, now you've got the date, you've got the poster.
And then you keep shouting about it.
You got to convince people to buy tickets. Oh my gosh. Well, I know other artists that do the same. And so it's cool. Just a lot of information sharing.
We're kind of keeping on the idea of community, going back to Buena Vita.
Yeah.
Like, such a, like, they've been about for 3 odd years now.
I know.
And
it feels like so much longer.
But like, that's kind of the cool part is they feel like they've been about forever because they really built up like an awesome basis of community. It's become such a staple, and particularly on the South Side scene and amongst DJs and like-minded individuals. But it's not something you see that often, at least not notably in the same way that Buena Vita has kind of taken charge. So do you think, like, I guess moving down to London, there will be more spaces like that, but for places like Dundee, for Aberdeen, and stuff like that, do you need to see more stuff like Buena Vita? And does Buena Vita need more support, I guess?
I mean, yeah, money. I think that's what everyone needs is money to do these things. Because, I mean, my experience with Buena Vita has been so positive from the beginning. You know, they gave me like my first opportunity to, and I'm not a DJ. I'm putting my hands up. I'm not a DJ. But I love music and I love hip hop and I love neo soul and I love jungle and like I just started, you know, putting basically glorified playlists together and doing my radio show. But then they taught me how to use CDJs, and then all of a sudden they put me forward for festivals. So and it took me all the way to We Out Here, and it I did my first I played Kelburn last year as a DJ. Like what? And it was the best time I've ever had. It was so much fun, and doing so, and that has all literally been birthed from speaking to just being like, hey, do you want a radio show? And working at it, doing that every month. Been doing it actually once a month now for 2 years now, which is kind of weird. Wow, I actually haven't thought about that. And so and like having the cafe, like my really good friend Hannah works there, like having a space where people can kind of congregate is a really big one. There's not a lot of, I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with is like not really having places just to be that aren't necessarily a bar.
Yeah.
Or a pub. Love a pub, don't get me wrong. But having a spot where, yeah, obviously, love the pub. Love the pub. But like sometimes like you don't want to be at the pub.
Sometimes shouldn't be at the pub.
Sometimes you shouldn't be at the pub. Sometimes it's okay to admit that you need a break from the pub. So yeah, I definitely think there needs to be more space. I mean, like in Glasgow, like we're having like places like Hill 52 Radio or like Clyde Bell as well that are also spaces. But Buena Vita is like unique in the fact that it exists outside of being a radio station as well, partly through need because the cafe is what also helps the radio station run. But having an actual space where people can go and hang out and do work or just go for coffee and you've got live shows happening on air, I think is amazing. And I know it exists in a lot of other places like in Sheffield as well, Manchester and Bristol. Community radio is so important, especially for what they stand for and, being given the keys to something and they just give you complete autonomy to make a show.
It's that
you could be out for 2 hours. You could just play whatever you want for 2 hours. And that also just means that they've like amassed like such a crazy amount of residents and that like span so many genres, so many types of radio. And also like they connect us with each other as well. Like they're like, oh, if I ever need something, they're like, no, we know someone who does this, or they're so good for helping people get booked. Like, which helped me get my first bookings as like a DJ back. Which, yeah, it's pretty amazing. So yeah, big experiences.
Well, for now, I think we should get on to some tacos. Let's do it. Okay.
How do I cut my shoes now? Wow, like this? No, like this.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Oh, these are so nice.
I think they are my favorite mushrooms on the planet.
They're gnocchi? Is that what they're called?
Yes. Yeah.
They're just so it's the texture that I really love. And
It's like
shiitake
picking
mushrooms
up
as well.
straw.
Yeah. I'm actually quite enjoying this. Like,